You were born into a cage made of invisible bars. A system so polished you mistook it for safety. From the moment you could walk, they wrapped chains around your ankles and called them shoes. Every cartoon, every classroom, every billboard and bedtime story was just one more link in the leash. They didn't teach you how to think. They taught you how to obey. Be polite. Raise your hand. Stay in line. And you did. They gave you gold stars for submission and you called it achievement. But underneath that praise was a plan to make you small, soft, and silent. Wake up. Plug in. Shut up. Get in line. Die slow. They don't want thinkers. They want slaves. They don't want warriors. They want addicts. You were programmed to consume, not to create. Trained to accept comfort instead of chasing conquest. The title you wear, student, employee, citizen, is just a nicer word for servant. And the worst part? You thank them for it. This is the enemy's greatest weapon, making you love your chains. Making you fear freedom because it doesn't come with a manual. You think you're awake because you complain. Because you post. Because you protest with signs. That's not rebellion. That's noise. The real war isn't out there, it's in here. In your daily decisions. In your refusal to settle. In the fire you keep smothering to fit in. You want to make noise? Then stop apologizing. Stop explaining. Stop living like your time belongs to anyone else. It starts with one decision: break the rules. Or be broken. They told you if you worked hard, you'd make it. That if you followed the rules, kept your head down, played nice, you'd be rewarded. You bought the dream. Hook, line, noose. You studied their books, took their tests, swallowed every cliche and called it wisdom. Be kind. Be humble. Be grateful. Grateful for what? For scraps? For debt? For 40 years of serving a machine that wouldn't blink if you vanished tomorrow? Look around. How many of the rule followers are winning? How many of the quiet, polite, compliant people are living lives of power and freedom? Almost none. Because the system wasn't built to reward obedience. It was built to exploit it. You were never meant to win. You were meant to produce. Meant to consume. Meant to repeat. They don't want you dangerous. They want you dependable. Reliable. Predictable. Replaceable. Your boss doesn't care about your dreams. Your government doesn't care about your potential. The system survives by keeping you asleep. Just awake enough to function, just distracted enough to never question. They fed you fear of failure and called it caution. They handed you chains and convinced you they were a safety net. And when you feel the noose tighten, they smile and say, that's life. But what they fear most is the one who snaps out of it. The one who wakes up angry. The one who burns the manual, breaks the leash, and rewrites the rules in blood. That person? That's you, if you're willing to kill the coward inside. If you're ready to bury who they told you to be. Because nothing changes until you realize the truth. The rules were never meant to protect you. They exist to control you. You want to be free? Then you'd better be ready to bleed. This world doesn't hand out power. It devours the weak and kneels for no one. You think you can talk your way into strength? Think a few podcasts and gym sessions will save you? No. You have to suffer. You have to break. You have to burn down the version of yourself that they built and forge something new from the ashes. Pain is the price of transformation. Discipline is the rent you pay for freedom. And you pay it daily. With your sweat. With your tears. With your damn soul. While they sleep, you sharpen. While they numb themselves, you get stronger. While they beg for likes, you build muscle. While they whine, you win. You are not like them. You never were. You are a weapon in the making, but only if you stop pretending comfort is your friend. Comfort is the enemy. It whispers, stay in bed. It tells you, skip the hard stuff. It wants you tame. But you weren't born to be tame. You were born to be terrifying. You have a fire inside. You felt it. The rage. The hunger. That voice that says, I'm meant for more. That's your real self, buried under years of programming, fear, and fake smiles. Dig him out. Bring him back. He's the one who breaks rules. He's the one who doesn't beg for permission. He's the one who walks through hell and keeps going. You want to rise? Then suffer. And suffer loud. Because nothing easy is ever worth it. You want to be unbreakable? Then forge yourself in fire. You thought your enemy wore a suit, carried a badge, sat behind a desk or stood behind a podium. You thought it was the system, the government, the man. But the enemy that's been holding you back lives inside your head. It's that voice that tells you to wait, to stay safe, to think small. The whisper that says, not yet, not you, not today. That voice is not your protector. It's a parasite, and it feeds on your fear. Every excuse you've ever made, every opportunity you let pass, Every second you chose comfort over courage. That was it winning. That was you losing. The worst chains are not the ones you see. It's the ones you justify. I'm not ready. I'm just being realistic. I don't want to fail. Weak thoughts. Coward's code. You've been taught to kill your ambition before it ever grows teeth. They told you confidence was arrogance. That intensity was aggression. That wanting more made you selfish. No, wanting more makes you alive. The world doesn't belong to the passive. It gets devoured by the obsessed. You want the truth? You're not tired, you're uninspired. You're not stuck, you're scared. You've got potential rotting in your chest because you keep feeding your demons instead of choking them. And until you confront them, not with therapy, not with mantras, but with war, you'll keep losing. There is a traitor inside you. A saboteur. A voice that wants to keep you weak. And that voice must be silenced. By action. By violence. By fire. Kill the coward inside. Starve the voice. Crush the comfort. Because your life doesn't change when the world shifts. It changes when you do. You think you're waiting for a sign? Here it is. You are your worst enemy. Fight back. Obedience. The golden chain. The quiet killer. You've been trained since birth to follow, not question. To stay in line. To play it safe. Do what you're told. Be a good citizen. Get a job, follow the rules, retire, then die. That's not a life. That's a leash. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, every time you agree just to keep the peace, every time you silence your instincts to please the herd, you bury yourself a little deeper. They don't beat you with sticks anymore. They beat you with routines, with policies, with politeness. They don't need to cage your body, they've caged your mind. And you become your own warden. You clock in, you smile, you nod, you obey. And inside you scream. That scream? That's the real you begging to break free. But the longer you obey, the quieter it gets, until it dies. Until you die. Alive in body, but long dead in spirit. Obedience isn't safety, it's surrender. You weren't born to submit. You weren't born to nod and kneel and blend in. You were born to break out. To push, to fight, to disrupt. But the world hates disruptors. That's why they gave you rules. Not to protect you, to control you, to mold you, to tame you. You want to live? Then disobey. Question everything. Smash what doesn't serve you. Rip the leash from your neck and dare the world to try and chain you again. The system doesn't reward obedience, it exploits it. And those who blindly follow it, they rot with the rest. Forgotten. Broken. Buried beneath a mountain of regret and wasted time. There's no glory in being a good cog in a broken machine. Stop obeying. Start awakening. Because the price of disobedience is pain, but the cost of obedience is your soul. Die standing. Or live on your knees. Every revolution starts with one act of defiance. One refusal to comply. One spark in a room full of gas. You've broken the illusions. You've seen the enemy. You've killed the voice. Now it's time to rise. Not slowly. Not cautiously. But with fire in your blood and fury in your bones. Because rising isn't about motivation, it's about decision. You choose to rise. You rise while you're bleeding. While they mock you. While your hands shake and your legs burn. You rise when every voice says, sit down, and you scream back, and oh, they will not clap for you. They will not cheer. You won't get applause for waking up at 4 a.m. or sacrificing comfort or chasing what they're too afraid to even admit they want. They'll call you crazy, arrogant, obsessed. Good. That means you're on the right path. The world doesn't change when you ask politely. It changes when you kick the door off its hinges and make your existence impossible to ignore. This isn't a comeback. It's a conquest. You're not healing, you're rebuilding. Stronger, smarter, ruthless. They wanted you broken, silent, small. But you're rising with scars like armor, eyes like fire, and purpose sharper than any blade. You're not here to fit in. You're here to take over. Get up. Show up. Push harder. Speak louder. Stand taller. Burn brighter. And if the world dares to get in your way, make it regret ever trying to cage a storm. This is the rise. This is the reckoning. And you are the fire. There comes a moment in every uprising where the line is crossed. Where the path behind you vanishes, burned, shattered, gone. This is that moment. No return. No retreat. Only forward. Because once you've seen the truth, tasted freedom, felt the fire, there is no going back to comfort, to compromise, to chains. You've awakened the storm inside you. Now it must rage. They will try to call you back. Offer you comfort. Apologize. Beg. Tempt you with distractions, with the illusion of peace. But make no mistake, That piece is poison. The only reason they want you back is because you're dangerous without them. And you are. You're uncontrollable, unpredictable, unshakable. You stepped off the map, now you write your own. This is not a phase. This is not a trend. This is a warpath. And if they thought you were too weak to rise, wait until they see what you become when there's nothing left to lose. You are not a version of who you were. You're a weapon forged in rebellion, baptized in pain, and crowned by your own fury. You don't fear failure anymore, because failure fears you. The world won't hand you power. You rip it out of its grip. You don't ask for space, you take it. And once you've taken it, you defend it with blood, with breath, with the ruthless discipline of a mind that refuses to sleep until its mission is carved into history. You wanted a sign? This. There is no more waiting. There is no more doubting. There is no more pretending. You break the rules, or you get broken. Choose. Now.